I have a question about, I was not here when the Williams Community Forest Group came in, so I don't know what transpired at that meeting, but I've had a lot of phone calls and emails, people wanting to know what we're going to do. And since I wasn't here, I don't know where that was left.
Well, you're the perfect person to provide an answer.
I don't know.
I don't know that we know either. I mean, based on their proposal, they're managing, the BLM is going to do $45,000 to $6,000 worth of management out there over the next 10 years. And my perspective is not a single one of the proposals of the different portfolios of things that they're looking to do have anything to do with commercial. I mean, they all say commercial thinning, but, and they're opposed to that. Called commercial fire reduction. I don't know what fuels reduction, I don't know what that means. Fuels reduction just means the understory. I don't think there's a commercial aspect to that other than we pay a bunch of money. So it's not only not providing revenue to the county and shared receipts on management of what should be some of that's ONC BLM land. It's costing everybody money for doing management. There's no net return. That's not okay. In my idea, the Spider-Man I had yesterday, we always have to be going after a portfolio of things that pays for stuff. Provides jobs, returns revenue to the county, but also provides for a forest that's resilient. And so I'm not going to say that I'm not going to support the recommendation. I can say that. It isn't that I wanted to go to even stand management on all the 66,000 acres that they're looking to manage out there, but the people out in Williams have to understand that we have to have a portfolio of things to pay for these kinds of things. I hate the idea that we're subsidizing things. It's no different than subsidizing a building out there. That's not okay. That's not an economic, not a sustainable way to manage our forests. So I haven't articulated that in the letter, so maybe, I don't know what the board feels about that.
Since I wasn't at the meeting, all I did was read this, but I wasn't at the meeting, and I didn't know how it was left. Whether you were going to get back to them, or...
I went out there and spent several hours getting toured around. Obviously, if you live there, sure, it's understandable what you don't want done. Okay, I can empathize with that. So how is it going to get done? And I think that's where the difficulty comes. We don't want any spray between 238 and
well, this isn't the spray.
No, but I'm saying that was phase one of this thing. Okay, so I can appreciate that. So then it's got to be maintained. So how are you going to maintain it? Okay. You don't want any trees cut at all in this forest. You want just all let it go. Okay, but that's not an option. So how do we arrive at some middle ground? That's difficult. Well, I don't like to have people tell me, you do this, and I'm going to be in your face, and I'm going to protest, and we're going to have people up the road. That's a wrong way, and so far, that has not occurred. As far as I've been talking to folks, that hasn't occurred. Obviously, they feel strongly about it. It's their community. Okay, good. But it's also the community. We're the community is financed by everybody in Josephine County. That's part of the process.
So we're elected to represent a broader.
Sure. And okay.
The Williams perspective.
So how do we bring this thing to some middle ground? Okay. And that's the process.
Well, I think the portfolio approach is, you have a wide gamut of things that you're trying to accomplish by that. Everybody's probably upset, and everybody's got a little bit that they're taking home. So it's okay, we got that. That's the thing, is nobody's really 100% happy with it. So maybe it's the right idea.
But I certainly haven't arrived at a specific solution to that issue. It's something that needs to be talked and processed.
So we've heard from the CAC. Maybe we need to hear from BLM specifically on this point. just have Dane come in and say, you know, what's going on out there?
What can they do?
What can they do?
Yeah, that would be good.
What would you like from
Yeah.
us? I mean, to say, this is our perspective. We're interested in the portfolio auction. It looks as though you did that, but frankly, you are so light touch on all of this, and there is no even stand management. There's no management out there at all. That's not an even portfolio.
That would be good.
So we need to highlight for the people of Williams, look, you are getting, and I thought I did that in the meeting, saying, this is a far cry transition from what you would have experienced 30 years ago out there. If the BLM was proposing a 10-year management strategy, this would have been part of it probably, but it certainly wouldn't have been the dominant portion of fuels restoration and stuff like that. You manage timber out there. That's what these lands are set aside to do.
And they
Without that-
have specific areas or smaller groups of areas where they have a concerned citizen has taken his property and has turned it into what they would like to see. Great. But that's not the whole area.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
The thing is, I mean, it's like, or Robinson, as an example, he wanted jurisdiction over his dominion, his little kingdom. So he bought a valley. That's 540 acres, just under 600 acres in this area. He controls the management on this area. Now, I understand that people can't afford to buy 600 acres. Well, then you need to understand it isn't yours until you buy it. And then you can dictate what happens on all of it. So otherwise, you have this consensus that everybody needs to, you know, there's the BLM, a federal agency in charge of this, and a county that represents everybody needs to probably weigh in. I gave them 3 options of what we could do. We could uphold their request and say, sure, this is what we'd like to see out there. Do nothing, or say no. We actually would recommend that there is a portfolio of options out here that do call for some commercial management of the forest out there, fuels reduction for sure. But this is what we'd like to see, and that's representative of the people of Josephine County. Out of the last question, we had 75% that think that forest management should have some sort of is an appropriate funding stream for county services. Your proposal does nothing to accomplish that. So it's not
So
okay.
are you going to,
Well, I wasn't going to write anything if
I think it'd be good to have the BLM.
well, I've had about 3 phone calls, and I've had at least probably that many emails. And I was the one that was not present.
Yeah.
So I don't think I should be the one to respond, but, because I wasn't there.
Well, I would like to see a full board response, even if I drafted that everybody's on board with that idea that, you know, I don't know.
I mean, I think it'd be nice if you draft a response, even though
Okay.
you gave them, even with the 3 options, and
That was
say
my
which one would
yeah.
you select, you know, so.
Are we
Rather
good with
than,
the latter?
because I know what they're, I know, you know, my feeling is by them keep continuing to contact me is that they think they're being ignored, even though you may have told them those are the things that you thought you could do.
Have they asked anything of you? I mean, have you,
They've asked if I would.
like a tour or something like that?
No, they haven't asked me to tour, no. They've just asked if they could have a response to their request. But they keep asking me, and I was at the meeting, it's like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't necessarily like a definitive response, and I'm not trying to be evasive either, but to me, there's not been enough information gathering and interplay between people involved in this whole thing to come up with a definitive response. But to say we've got it, we're working on it, we're going to talk with BLM, we already have that scheduled, we will be out and talk with you on site again or something. But
So that would be your first version of how we respond?
yeah.
That we're working on it, we're gathering additional information.
With some specifics, I mean, where the BLM is coming, we want to come out, we want to be able to come out, whether it's a board or as the commissioners, as board or individually, to be able to see what you're talking about on site, to be there, to get more input from a wider spectrum of just than 1 or 2 people that's involved in this thing.
Well, I've been out there, and I made it clear the last time, I'm not inclined to need to go out there again. I've seen it, toured other ones, Pilot Joe, I've been on a half dozen tours of forestry issues.
Well, it's just that here they represent a very small group of people who are very vocal.
Right.
Is there some, and I don't know, I'm just asking a question, but is there some community group person that could arrange for a Williams community discussion?
Yeah, they have like a CAC town hall. They could arrange for that, I'm sure.
I think that would be worthwhile to have in there, at Williams.
Would that be an opportunity for us to respond with our recommendation? Or just to gather more information?
But I think we're just trying to come up with information of what we're going to do to come up with. I mean, it's very easy to make the declarative ex cathedra, but I'm not sure that's realistic, especially now. Because they know when I listen to them. See, the problem is, we knew this was going to happen. I don't like to have people tell me personally, or the commissioner, that if you don't do this, we're going to have people in the streets protesting and okay, come on, let's work through this thing a little bit better in the front end. And I think right now it's a very volatile issue that needs to be vetted more than what we have done to this point.
I don't know that I agree really. At the end of the day, the conservation community has an opportunity to litigate on all of these things. And they've been exercising that right, pretty freely. And so, their point is heard. Appreciate that perspective. There isn't balance in my mind. And so and I don't expect, having sat in these conversations before, that they're going to ever subscribe to agreeing to that balanced approach of what balance is for me. They probably think that their proposal is balanced.
But is that the Williams approach?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know that.
So we draft an initial response and then we coordinate a town hall?
Yeah, I would like to see a town hall out there.
Just for kicks?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, would you be so kind as to organize that? Because I don't have the inspiration to have it. I will attend.
Okay.
I'd be happy to hear people's concerns on those things. I don't want to get into an argument.
No. Yeah, that would be
I don't know that I feel the benefit. What information am I going to garner other than their opinion that they don't want to cut trees?
Well, but we might find out that there's 55% of the community is not supportive of this. Hypothesizing.
I don't think that's...
I'm just saying. But with that, we might find out that the vocal element, which carries the day, is not the majority view of the people of Williams. I don't know. I'm just saying, because I don't really know. But I will.
I don't know how much weight. I mean, I appreciate certainly that people have an opinion on that, and that's probably why they're getting the proposal they do out there at Williams, because that's certainly that's not what's going on in other areas. That's not what the BLM is proposing in other areas. So I feel like they all have already somewhat tailored their management style to that area, maybe even a little more than they should have, because that's not just the Williams. They feel like it's it is their backyard, but it's not theirs. It's everybody's. It's public domain. So